The Atari Creep YouTube channel is intended for a mature audience. Regardless of the subject matter, this video may contain strong language, simulated violence, and lots of psychological nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. What's up, Creepers and Geekers? Chris, the Atari Creep. How is everyone doing today? I must be a glutton for punishment because I ordered something from Hyperkin. I actually got this on Amazon. I had some gift cards, and they gave me a $15 credit because of a goof that they had. And you know what? I really wanted to check out this controller, so I figured, what the hell? And I ordered it yesterday, and it showed up today. Moving on to a different table because of the goofy sunlight. First impressions out of the box. This is a pretty solid, significant thing. This it's a lot more solid than I actually anticipated. The quality of these aftermarket controllers are actually getting pretty good. And you know what? I have to give Hyperkin, as much as I am not a fan of their Atari products anyway. I have to say that this feels pretty solid and does not give me any sense of negativity, so to speak. I have confidence in this, is what I'm basically trying to say. The stick feels okay for a stick. I'm not a fan of these, but we'll see how it functions in my hand anyway. Button feels solid. The spinner here for the paddle control, I can see where everyone's talking about. It's a little stiffer than one that you would have for the Atari 2600. I think I can overlook that. It doesn't feel too bad. In fact, it has a really nice, it has a little bit more feedback than a regular paddle would have when in use in your hand. So I like that. It's a good feature. And I don't know if that was by design or if that's just how it just happened at the factory. But regardless, I think it's going to be serviceable. We'll find out here in a minute. Other features are, we have a switch down on the bottom here, at least the bottom in the configuration in which I'm going to play it in. For either stick mode, or you can flip that over to turn this thing onto paddle mode. So you're going to go from digital to analog. Up here, you have right-handed and left-handed, and it is ambidextrous. And that's what I was talking about, configuration. Another great feature that they did, which I'm sure a lot of people have been talking about, is the cord. You can switch the cord around depending on how you want to hold it. If you want the cord in the top while you're holding it this way, or if you want it in the bottom while you're holding it this way. You can have the cord, heck, you can just leave it straight out like this. They really thought about this one, and you know what, I gotta say, Hyperkin, I'm impressed. But I haven't plugged this into anything yet, so we'll see how impressed I am here in a minute. But it does feel good in the hands. It's got these little bums here that you can grab onto. Like, remember school dances? There you go. You're having a school dance, and you're grabbing her bum while you're dancing. Teacher comes around, you put it back up to her hips. You know the drill. Packaging, there's really nothing to be, leaves a little bit to be desired. No paperwork or anything. You just get your typical Hyperkin box while they're cutting corners. I have to I have to pick on them a little bit. They got these goofy little things on the side that are needless to say. It tells you what it's compatible with. I'm curious to see if this is compatible with my Atari 800. So we are going to check that out. Unfortunately, I don't have any paddle games for my Atari 800, so I'm going to have to ask around. Maybe I'll talk to John Hancock and see what he's got to say. But there's no paperwork inside, but they give you all instruction here in the back. They're doing the earth a solid by not printing any needless paperwork, so we got to give it to them for that. Really nice packaging, really nice presentation. Let's get that typical China plastic smell. So enough talking about the machine. Who cares what it looks and feels like as long as it works? Let's plug this into a couple of machines and run it through its paces. Now I gotta hand it to Hyperkin. This thing has a lot of cord. I don't know, I would say it was 10 foot, something like that, but let's play some Pac-Man. I figure a game with precise up, down, left, right. That would be my initial fear with this thing anyhow. So let's see how it performs with that. You know, we'll go right, go up, go left. It's doing everything I want it to do. I can see where I'm gonna probably get jammed up a little bit on this. Only because the stick is a little tall, but I think for a lot of you guys who are used to the double thumbstick type stuff, I think you might be able to get by with this. Okay, so it works fine with Pac-Man. Next game, let's test the button out on something that you need some serious rapid fireage. Let's play some Yaz Revenge. Okay, so it is a workout on the thumb. The button's a little stiffer than what most are probably used to. I think you get used to it as long as you don't do that again. That was pure stupidity. Okay, I got the gate, the vag open here. Let me get in there before it goes red. Fuck. All right, let's get in there. Blammo. Okay, I think with rapid fire succession, your thumb's gonna have to get used to it. But all right, overall, it worked. All right, so the main event here. Let's see how the paddle works. We'll play a couple paddle games, keeping with current events here. Because in all honesty, I have 100 different ways to play Atari, controller-wise, that are all more than adequate. What's the point of buying another controller, right? Well, it's the alternative option for your paddle games. I mean, we have the old jittery paddles. This is what it's all about right here. So let me get used to the paddle itself for a second here. Figure out which hand I think would work best. Alright. Oh, I'm gonna die right there. That's dumb. Okay. Alright, let's play for real now. I am sensing a disturbance in the force. It doesn't quite have the feel of the original paddles. And you know what, in all honesty, I didn't expect it to, 100%. In fact, I didn't expect it to work this well. We're going to put it through its paces for a few games, though. It does have an odd feel to it, but I think it's something that you could get used to it. Especially if you don't have any other alternative. I think you could manage your way. But let's play a couple others. Let's see what breakout of the Super Variety has in store for us. This one I actually have to touch buttons on the machine. There we go. See how we feel. Yeah! It's got an odd feeling to it. Let me try the other hand. And if it's not in focus, I apologize, but you get the point, right? You get the gist of what's going on here. All right, let's serve the ball. Okay, I think we're running into the same problem that Willie did with his Blaze Pong tabletop, where they put the wrong paddle encoder. I forget exactly what it's called in it. And where it's not a smooth movement with every slight movement of the paddle, it's doing it in digital ticks, if that makes any sense. Almost like there's an invisible clicker in there. Like it's going click, 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 click. I think that's what's going on here. All right, let me put in some Kaboom, because that's really going to test this. If you can play Kaboom with this thing, then this thing's it's a shoo-in. It could also be the way the Hyperkin itself is responding, so we'll also put it into an Atari 2600 as well. All right, Kaboom! There we go. There we go. Where's my... Oh, another one where I have to play with the console itself. All right, where's my thing? Now, see, this feels a little smoother. Huh, interesting. I'm wondering if it's not the Hyperkin. I also haven't played Kaboom. Probably over here. Okay, let me pull out the Atari 2600 Junior. That way we're not making a 200-hour video. And we'll see if it feels or plays any different on that. Alright, let's start with a little super breakout here. See what this does for us. Oh! So it's a little smoother with the Atari 2600 Junior. This feels more like the regular thing. So if you're going to use this with the Retron 77... I'm guessing that's what that weirdo feeling... This feels nice. I like it. Alright, so let's move on to another game, see how it responds with that. Okay, with Astro Blast, it does something really weird. It won't start until you press up. And up is fire. And the paddle won't work. I've double checked it. And I use my actual paddles, and they work just fine. So for some reason on the Atari 2600 with Astro Blast, up is fire. And the paddle won't work in any configuration. There we go. I have it in the other one. Now it's down. So, all right then. Of course, kaboom. Yeah, this feels great. So if you're using original hardware, I think you can get by with this. In fact, this plays fantastic. Oh shit. Alright, good enough for government work. So overall, what are my thoughts on the Retron Hyperkin Ranger 7012 thing? No, the Hyperkin Ranger, in all seriousness, it's a nice solid controller, and it works fairly well. I only had a couple hang-ups, that goofiness with the Astro Blast. And when I was playing Kaboom, I noticed with these little ends here, I kept jamming my thumb in there, and it was tough getting the paddle underneath the bombs. I think that's something that I could get used to eventually. It would probably only take a couple of gameplays, just to muscle memory, to remind myself that it's not a regular paddle and I don't have free range of movement. Maybe I should have brought paddles out so you can see what the originals look like. You know what they look like, so I'll just leave that be. This is quite smaller, but it feels comfortable. The resistance isn't as bad as I've heard some people talk about, and I think it works well. Now, who is this for? That's the question. Well, it's obviously a great alternative to the original paddles. The original paddles are getting jittery and breaking down, and they're starting to fail. So I suppose anyone who wants a good alternative for their paddles, just keep in mind that there's some goofiness to these as far as compatibility is concerned that we saw. When I played it on the Hyperkin, it felt weird, but all the games I tried worked. Whereas on the Atari 2600, it felt just like the original paddles, except one game did some goofy stuff where the only thing that would work is me using this. And I flipped the switches to make sure it was in the correct configuration. And it was. So it's going to have its idiosyncrasies here and there. So I think anyone who needs a paddle controller, or let's say you're getting into Atari 2600 and you find a console at a yard sale real cheap but didn't come with any controllers or paddles, I think this is a great alternative. So, yeah, I totally recommend this. 25 bucks, Amazon. Can't complain. It's a nice, solid controller. Hyperkin's really stepped up their quality control. I mean, this sticker, I don't think the sticker will last long if you use this controller quite a bit. But, again, if you're into the thumbstick thing and you don't mind working your thumb out a little bit, fantastic controller and an amazing alternative to the paddles that we have that are starting to fill. So guys, let me know down below, do you have one of these? What are your thoughts? And would you consider getting something like this? I know I've spoken ill about Hyperkin in the past, but you know, you got to give them credit where credit is due. This is a great product. I think this is a really great product and a step in the right direction. Hoorah, Hyperkin. Guys, go ahead and leave your feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down, all feedback too. The creep is positive. And until next time, take care, creep it real, and bye-bye.